Here we go again. Ballon d'Or time. This is the most coveted individual award in football. Why? Because it has history, it has prestige, it also looks pretty. The successor to Karim Benzema will be announced later this month. To some, the winner is obvious. To me, that doesn't matter. I'm interested in something else. What does it actually take to win a Ballon d'Or? What do you have to win? Where do you have to play? Who do you have to be? Are defenders even considered? Justice for Harry Maguire. I've taken a look at each Ballon d'Or win in existence and tried to connect the dots between them to see what makes the ideal Golden Ball winner. I then applied that knowledge to this year and potentially every year after that. The results might shock you, but then again, they might not. Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. I'm Tinashe, welcome back to the channel. When you pull together the best of the best in any given industry to find a standout, you're bound to run into some controversy. Ronaldo and Lionel Messi have 12 of these bad boys between them. We may never witness shared dominance like that again in our lifetimes. Multiple wins is not normal. In the 12 years before Messi retained it in 2010, there was a different winner every year. But that era is over. Kind of. This is an obvious preface to any sort of discussion like this, but in this game, there are so many roles and responsibilities and specialities that it's kind of impossible to choose one player that stands out above everyone else. I mean, would you say that a Urus is better than a bicycle? Depends on the purpose, right? Also, if you're in the Netherlands, I'd keep my voice down. Before building our historically ideal Ballon d'Or candidates and winner, we have to acknowledge that this isn't an exact science. And one of the main reasons for that is the actual method that's used to choose the winner. Winning a Ballon d'Or is simple. You have to be the best, and you have to be recognized as being the best. All of that translates to votes. Up until 2006, voting was only open to UEFA-accredited journalists, and between 2007 and 2015, coaches, national team captains, as well as journalists were involved in the voting, something that is indeed as wild as it sounds. Right now, the assessment period is the previous season as opposed to the calendar year as it had been in years before 2022. 100 journalists from FIFA's top 100 rated nations are asked to pick 5 candidates from the 30-man shortlist. Points are awarded as shown on screen. A voter's first pick nets the player 6 points. Their second gives the players 4 points, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm about to list just some of the problems with all of this. Up until only last year, voters have been encouraged by France Football to consider a player's overall career when deciding on their choices, something that many believe were large contributing factors to at least 1 or 2 of Messi and Ronaldo's wins. Particularly in most recent memory, Messi's win over Virgil van Dijk and then his other win over Robert Lewandowski. Now, I'm not here to debate any of that, whether you believe that this is the case or not. I think we can all agree that that's a pretty silly criterion. You really shouldn't be looking at someone's career for an individual season. Claims of international favoritism, falsified votes, and sketchy results have all been made. Voter behavior is already a highly debated and often misunderstood topic when it comes to any form of democracy. Throw in annual changes to criteria, voter fatigue, and the fact that voter identities are made public, and what you're probably gonna get is a pretty biased data set. Think about it like this. Imagine being the friend or teammate or whatever of a candidate that's highly in contention. Would you really want to be the Real Madrid teammate that told Ronaldo that you didn't vote for him? For the 2012 edition, Lionel Messi, Argentina's captain, voted for Andres Iniesta, Xavi, and Sergio Aguero, all of them teammates of his. You want to know what he said when asked why Ronaldo didn't feature in his picks? It would be stupid not to consider Cristiano as one of the best. I just thought those were the players I should vote for. He basically said, "Listen, chief, it is what it is." The next year, he voted for Iniesta, Xavi, and Neymar. Listen, we can't really blame him. In 2012, Gianluigi Buffon had Andrea Pirlo, and Wesley Sneijder had Robin van Persie as their top picks, respectively. For this exact reason, Joachim Löw decided to abstain from voting in 2013 due to the obvious conflict of interest. He did vote the next year when Germany won the World Cup. Surprise, surprise. I didn't see those picks coming. Maybe there's a reason why journalists are the only ones that vote now. I mean, Sure, they're also susceptible to just voting for their fellow countrymen, right? But at least they don't have to see them in training the next day. The ultimate winner is often very contested. Almost every year you'll have a journalist come out and say that their votes were recorded incorrectly. After the World Cup in 2010, some claimed that their votes for Xavi Hernandez were actually counted as votes for Xabi Alonso. And then of course we have the years where something just seems off. Pavel Nedved had a great year in 2003 and won it while playing at Juventus. But even he believed that he should never have won it and that Thierry Henry was robbed. Matthias Sammer won it in 1996 ahead of Ronaldo Nazario, who had probably the greatest breakthrough year as a 20-year-old with Barcelona. 1 point was the difference there. Of course, we all remember 1966 when a single point separated Bobby Charlton and Eusebio. Man, those were the good old days, right? In 2013, Frank Ribery was a strong favorite. After voting had closed, Cristiano Ronaldo pulled off an insane hat-trick in the World Cup qualifiers to send Portugal to the 2014 World Cup. Voting was reopened a couple days after due to a low voter response the first time. Ronaldo won. 2013 was Cristiano Ronaldo's best ever year in terms of individual output. He was an animal, and I remember at the time thinking that this award made sense. But then again, maybe that was recency bias. Who knows? The timing of the voting extension was odd. Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. Something I've always wanted to say. How do you win a Ballon d'Or? That is to say, what is the most likely combination of attributes that are required to give you the best chances of picking up this shiny boy over here? Here are the basic criteria that I looked at. We're going to be looking at the entire duration of the award for the most part, but I also wanted to divide the wins into two categories: pre-1995 and post-1995. The reason I want to do this is because there is a clear divide between the winners before this date and after this date. Whether that's because the eligibility of the award was widened around this time is up for debate, but what I really think it is that this is when the financial divide between the top 5 leagues and the rest of the world became well and truly established. The best players in the world were undoubtedly in those leagues, or they were well on their way to being there. Because of all of this, it's also a good time period to use as the early stages of the modern game, where everything's been caught in HD and media off and online has put the game under a fine-tuned microscope. Here's the win count per league pre-1995. 10 different leagues were represented on the podium in the first 39 years of the Ballon d'Or. Only 5 have been represented ever since. Of course, Ligue 1 only has one, which was Messi. He already had the win sealed before he put pen to paper with PSG though. So, there's that. The clubs that the winners have been playing in also reflect a similar trend: 17 before 95 and only 9 after. Take a guess on where the lion's share of those wins have come from. More or less the same place that the winning nationalities for the entire spectrum have come from: Argentina, France, the Netherlands, and Portugal. I wonder why. Interestingly, the Netherlands were the dominant force before 95 with 7, one more than second-placed Germany. Since 1992, they've yet to win a single award. Wesley Schneider in 2010 would like a word, I'm sure. And Germany have only managed 1. What about playing positions? No surprise that attack-minded players, i.e. forwards, have always dominated. 62% of all winners have been forwards. Just about every midfielder that's ever won has been an attack-minded midfielder, and every defender that's ever won, bar Cannavaro in 2006, specialized in the sweeper role, a deep-lying position with license to attack. We're simple people. Why are attackers favored so much more? It sucks to admit if you're not one, but they are the most front-facing players in any given team. You're not going to see highlights of really impressive positional play and well-timed tackles by defenders on the evening news. It doesn't generate enough excitement from the average viewer, unfortunately. You're not going to see montages of Sergio Busquets beating the press, taking 3 players out the game and leaving Lionel Messi with more space to work with than the hole in my heart that my ex left me. No, highlights are only going to be clipped at the point Messi receives the ball. We never truly appreciated the beauty of this guy's assist game. I'm not going to bore you with all of the fine details of all the categories that we're using here for the winners, but if you're interested, all the tables, stats, and whatnot are all linked below on my website, where I post the scripts and sources for all videos and other bonus articles, all for free. Now let's move on to what the chances of someone winning are based on what they actually achieve during a season. On screen, we have the percentages of winners who, in their winning years, also were their domestic league top scorer or were simply just a high scorer, won the European Cup or a World Cup, etc. and etc. At first glance, the things that really pop up as strong indicators of a winner are winning their domestic league and being a high goal scorer. Contrary to popular belief, winning a European Cup, a Continental Cup, or a World Cup more often than not does not mean you will be a Ballon d'Or winner. The correlation between winning the award and winning competitions becomes stronger when you include the players that were runners-up for those competitions too, a lot stronger. 76% of all winners have either won or come second in their domestic leagues. All of a sudden, in years where international cups have taken place, 56% of all winners have either won or were runners-up in those. It's pretty interesting when you actually look at it like this. So where does all of this leave us? Now, I'm about to tell all of you something that you 100% did not know before clicking onto this video. Pay attention. I'm about to put you onto some game to lock in the highest chances of winning a Ballon d'Or. Statistically, you have to be from Argentina, play in Spain for either Real Madrid or Barcelona, win your domestic league, and score 20 or more goals in all competitions. Winning a major competition helps, but it's not mandatory. Save yourself the trouble. You're still in with a shot if you're a runner-up. So what do we do with all of this information? Let's take a look at our 30-man shortlist for 2023. I thought about how I was going to decipher who the most likely winner of the award is based on what we know from the previous section. So I've assigned a numerical weighting to each category out of a maximum of 5 points based on what the most common winning attribute is. For example, Argentina has the most wins per country. If you're Argentine, you get 5 points. France, the Netherlands, and Portugal are tied for second, thus each get 3 points. Brazil, England, Italy, and Germany are tied for third and thus get 1. Winners of domestic leagues get 5 points, runners-up get 3, third place gets 1. You get the deal. Okay, time for the big reveal. The winner of the 2023 Ballon d'Or is... I'm hoping that you guys are doing a drum roll at home. If not, then it's pretty pointless. It's Karim Benzema. Yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone saw that coming. He was one of the clear favorites. But seriously though, this is where the limitations of this kind of assessment fall short. Benzema is a fantastic player. He's the holder, but I wouldn't say he was the best. He got 15 points in this assessment based on the fact that he played in Spain for Real Madrid and was a forward. Julian Alvarez sits very closely in second place with only 2 points less than Karim Benzema. It makes sense. The guy won everything last year, literally. He also scored 17 goals. Had he scored only 3 more, he would have been tied for first place. Rounding off the podium is yet another pick that I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys saw coming. It's Lautaro Martinez in third place, helped a lot by the fact that he won the World Cup and was a runner-up in the Champions League final. In case any of you were wondering, Lionel Messi sits in a 4-way tie in fourth place, along with Erling Haaland, Vinicius Jr. and Robert Lewandowski. Here's the raw spreadsheet with all the detailed calcs. You can check it out in the description if you want. If you're sitting at home thinking about how nonsensical this video and all of this is, I have one thing to tell you. You're right. I mean, after all, this was made by a guy that has way too much time on his hands and nothing better to do. But it's pretty fun. Looking to the past to try and predict the future is always a fun game to play. As to who I think will actually win it, I mean, it's between Lionel Messi and Erling Haaland, right? Both had fantastic years and won a ton. If it were up to me, it's gotta go to Erling Haaland. The guy is just a different breed and he needs to be rewarded for it. But at the same time, Lionel Messi immortalized himself back in December. I can definitely see the voting being swayed by that purely based on story alone. One lost golden ball to round off an unprecedented career. I wouldn't complain too much, and honestly, I don't think many others would too. Well, I mean, I would complain, but I'm pretty sure my complaints would fall on deaf ears. All I have to say is justice for Harry Maguire. And there we have it. Let me know what you guys think about this year's Ballon d'Or. Tell me, who do you think should win it, and who do you think is going to win it? Those are two different people, depending on who you are. Feel free to follow all the socials. All the links are in the description. That's all from me today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're having a great day. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.